It's Coach Cal, and I'm here to present to you the Flexingtons, presented by Richie Lanza. Go Big Blue!
Friday, January 12th. Big Blue Nation, what's shaking? Richie Lanza checking back in for another edition of the Flexingtons. Of course, another victory to cover. Cats are rolling. We got to give you an update on the AP Top 5, what's going down. We're looking like we're trending the right direction. Assuming we take care of business tomorrow versus Texas A&M. Of course, we'll finish with the A&M preview. We got that Missouri recap, some NBA sprinkled in between. And let's get into it. Of course, Tuesday night in Lex, taking care of business, protecting home court versus Mizzou. Turns out they were missing 2 of their best 5 players. We didn't have a do, but we still went in there and did our thing, of course. If you aren't familiar with the spread, it was 11.5. We were pretty much between 7 and 11 the whole second half, trying to surpass that 11.5 mark. It came close. There was a small scare at the end. Took care of business, covered by 13. And if you were like me and took my suggestion and parlayed that over team point total, which turned out to be 85.5, easy cash. Let's get it. Risk 500, win 1150. Solid day at the office. I love hitting a bet as I'm clocking out of work and adding on to my earnings. Anyways, back to the game. Mizzou, to be cut and clear, we're just a whole nother tier and level than they are. Their biggest lead on us was 2. Ours was 15. We pretty much controlled the tempo. Our best 5 players are just superior to their whole team pretty much, just by itself. And then when you implement our bench with it, it's night and day. We out-rebounded them 42-27. We had 3 less blocks than them, but pretty much every other statistical category, we led Mizzou. And they came in being a better free throw shooting team than us. We shot 84%, they shot 77%. We shot 30 from 3, 50 from the field. If we're shooting 50 from the field and put up 90 points, it's a problem for other teams. And this is a game where Antonio Reeves getting all the open looks, getting all the good looks, and nothing was falling, unfortunately. This is a game where if Antonio Reeves had a normal game, we put up 100 points. This team is special. Our pace, our scoring tempo, it's just second to none right now. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll finish this recap. But what's going on right now in the country with all these other top teams? We're clicking at the perfect time. Coming into SEC, our 3rd game tomorrow. We're 2-0. Texas A&M is definitely a tough place to play. We'll get to that, of course. I always get ahead of myself. But I'm just really looking forward to this AP update on Monday. And, of course, we'll transition to that shortly. I can't go any further without speaking on Rob Dillingham. Just in 18 minutes, he had 23 points, 6 for 7 from the field, including 3 for 3 from deep. My man's is just unguardable. When you combine that with DJ Wagner, it's absolutely dangerous. And this is with a Reed and Antonio, a part of this roster, a part of this offense, that are very dangerous weapons as well. Trey Mitchell can't get enough praise. The way he's rebounding right now as a 4 is special. 20 and 14, 3 assists, 2 blocks, plus 13, leading the team in plus minus. Trey Mitchell's just a winner. He is not here just to wear the jersey, just to get famous, just to enjoy the moment. He really wants to win. He wants to grow as a player. He wants to help these young guys around him grow too, as far as basketball IQ. And he is not somebody who loses focus during the game. He is somebody I want to go to war with. And as far as top power forwards we've had in the Cal era, I put him right up there with the best of them. And I'm really grateful about the whole Trey Mitchell, Hunter Dickinson saga that we went through. Luckily enough, we don't land Dickinson, and luckily enough, West Virginia gets that extra amount of time to leave with Huggins suddenly exiting last second. It's just a blessing with the combination of Antonio Reeves returning, this best top freshman class in the country, probably up there with top 3 Cal freshman class of all time. I mean, off the bat, I'm thinking 2014. I'm thinking, 2014 is definitely the first one I think of. You got the Harrison twins, Julius Randle, James Young. Different. That team. Oh man, it's hard to think. I mean, obviously the twins and Young didn't turn out to be studs in the league like I feel like half of our roster will this year. And to touch on Justin Edwards, 20 minutes, 4 points, plus 4, 2 rebounds, 2 for 7 from the field, 0 for 3 from deep. For some reason, there's something about Justin Edwards that I just think it's going to work out for him down the road. Hopefully in college, where I'm going out with this, I can see Justin Edwards getting drafted and finding a role in the NBA and figuring it out. But I could be wrong. It could be a Kevin Knox situation where Kevin Knox, I mean, he's definitely superior to Justin Edwards at this point of his Kentucky career, but he just ended up not being what we thought he would be in the league. For whatever reason, though, I can see it working out for Justin Edwards. Maybe I'm just being super optimistic. But anyways, I'll look at this team. Aaron Bradshaw, 10 points, 6 rebounds, plus 9. I definitely watched this game over 2 times since the live recording while I was at work. And Mizzou had pretty much one of those weird rosters. They had an obscure 7'4 plus player, huge body. It was good for us to be in that scenario where we actually do have Ugo and Aaron Bradshaw, and we're still finding ourselves undersized. We still didn't let that guy stop us. He's nothing special. Obviously, if he goes to Missouri, no shade. It just turned out to be a great game. I'm really satisfied with this victory. There isn't too much to really nitpick or focus on. I mean, my other thing that I touched on, with Antonio Reeves going 0 for 5 from deep, 3 from 9 from the field, and we still put up 90 in cover, we just have too many weapons to whereas if one of our biggest guns isn't hitting, we have plenty of other options to whereas our offense can just let it happen. We push the ball and just let it happen in transition. DJ Wagner, 16 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, plus 9, 5 for 8 from the field, 1 for 2 from deep. What I like about this team is nobody's afraid to go to the line. All of our guys are pretty efficient. As far as our team percentage for the season, it's not nowhere near where it'll finish. I feel like our guys are really locking in and focusing and realizing for a really close, tight game, these free throws are going to be the difference maker. And us missing 5+ a game is not acceptable. Regardless how many we take, we need to hit as many as possible. And they're called free throws for a reason, and we need to focus on that. This has been an issue for past teams down the road in March. You think of the P.J. Washington team, what could have happened if they just hit some free throws? Who else? 2017. Free throws wasn't as big of an issue, but it hurt us in that UNC game. I mean, there's a few examples, but I'm just locking in on March to where I'm thinking of detrimental endings to the season because of free throws. And Brandon Knight, 2011, is another one. Free throws down the road versus UConn could have got us to the chip. And I think this team, not only are we strong from deep, but we're strong from the free throw line. We usually have a guy or two in the rotation that is just a sub 70% free throw shooter, and that's how we're looking for. We got guys like Reed Shepard. At the end of the game, we could lock in on him. He's going to go automatic. I got to see it in person in Gainesville. He hit those 6 towards the end of the game, and when it comes down to free throws, this is not a weakness I see in our team. I really can't find a weakness right now, and I wish I had an update with Big Z right now. This would be the perfect time to throw Big Z in as we enter and break the top 3 in AP. First time in years, by the way. I believe it was 2021 with Oscar Shibue early on in the season, the last time we were top 3. And to many D1 programs, that's not a long drought, but for us it is. We belong in there, especially with Coach K not being in the picture, Duke not being the powerhouse that they've been for quite a while now. It's just so important for us to lock in SEC play. I really feel like we're going to win every game at home, regardless of the opponent. Auburn's looking good this year. Tennessee is okay. We just seen Tennessee lose, though. I mean, they're beatable. And as far as my aspirations for the SEC, I do not want to lose more than 2 games. If we lose one on the road, a game we should have won, but it's on the road, lost within 5, I'll get over it. I won't lose sleep on it, but I will if we lose at home. This team is such a contender this year that I don't see a home game, especially at SEC home game, where the crowd doesn't show up. We just seen this past Tuesday, the crowd did pretty much fill up 90%, and we showed out on a Tuesday. And that is going to pretty much be the forecast for the rest of the season, because now we're entering top 3 territory. We're entering 1 seed status, and now any of those fans that were hesitant or complacent with just, watching from home instead of going and making the trip to the game, that's going to be the difference for some of these quote-unquote spoiled fans that need to show up and be loud. Home court this year, I really want to run the table. We already seen what can go wrong without DJ Wagner at home versus UNC Wilmington. Hopefully we don't have to speak on that game too much often, but it's just an example to what can go wrong. And even though it was Aaron Bradshaw's first game, I do not have an excuse for that loss. It's not DJ Wagner. It's just saying if we're down one of our dogs, we can see something going wrong, and that's the perfect example. And just like that Evansville loss years ago, this is going to be the more updated example, UNC Wilmington, to where we had a stacked team full of NBA pros, full of contenders for an NCAA championship, and we lost at home versus a quad 2 team at best. Not acceptable. You look around the SEC, it's a little underwhelming compared to preseason. We felt there would be 5+ teams ranked at a clip, and right now it's just 3. And besides Auburn, Tennessee is not representing the SEC correctly with this past loss earlier in the week versus Mississippi State. To finish up on the game, though, before we transition, very satisfied with the win. This is exactly what we needed right now. We needed to put up 90. We needed to cover. We needed to protect home court. There was probably 37 minutes of real game time that we had to lead. Maybe even more. Maybe 38 plus. I just combined totally controlled. We totally controlled the game. Coach Cal is in his bag right now, and I'm here for it. I'm really excited to see how we handle an SEC environment like Texas A&M, which I think is more intense than Gainesville, even though I've never been there in person, just from watching 10+ years. This is a game where they're going to sell out. Their crowd's going to be even crazier than Gainesville's, because in my opinion, maybe it comes across on TV, Gainesville was lit and turned. It's more so that student section that was really, really energized, really keeping the crowd in it. Texas A&M, they have men in whatever you want to call it. They have them in those military suits just controlling the crowd the entire game. It's going to be intense, and if Texas A&M can stay in it, it's going to be a tough environment for us. As far as the spread and the line, actually, it's 222 right now as I'm recording this angel number. Let's see if we got the spread yet. On my first attempt, I'm not seeing it. This is bad radio, but let me check one more source while I'm still recording. I'll just let it ride. This one does not have a line yet either. So the line must not be out yet. Actually, this third one is saying Texas A&M -1. Wow. That's kind of food. I mean, it's not going to be an easy game. We're going to get to that. I'll actually continue that on the preview. In the last 2 nights, number 1 Purdue, number 2 Houston, number 3 Kansas, and number 5 Tennessee have all lost. And if we're trending the right direction, take care of business at Texas A&M and just come away with the victory, we're entering top 3 status. We're possibly knocking on the door at 2. I don't know what the AP is going to do as far as Purdue and Houston with them. Well, especially Houston. That was their first loss. Don't know how much they'll drop, but I do see us jumping Kansas. I do see us jumping Tennessee. I do feel comfortable that we will be a top 3 ranked team on Monday, assuming we take care of business on Saturday. I'm basically giving away my prediction for the preview for tomorrow's game. A little early, but I just feel so great with this team. We're clicking so much. We're putting up 90 without Antonio Reeves knocking down 1-3. And Matt Jones had that cool stat, actually. Unless it was Jack Pilgrim. Who was it? I think it was Matt Jones. There has been more games in Antonio Reeves' college career, not just at Kentucky, to where he hit 3 threes compared to hitting none. He has had more games where he knocked down 3 threes compared to him hitting none. And that is a testament to what type of player he is. He's a shooter. He's a knockdown sniper. And for him to have an off game and for us to look this good, it's special. And I'm really excited to just continuing watching these guys play. I'm taking every game like it's our last. This is one of those special teams we're going to remember for years, regardless of what the final outcome will be. Enjoy every minute with this team while you can.
Ya no me enojo contigo, solo observo y pienso, me decepcionó y me alejo más de ti, porque yo ya no quiero sufrir, quiero ser feliz.
This NBA segment today is going to be quick. Squee just had a little clip I wanted to play. It's just a perfect example of why Kentucky's second to none as far as taking your game to the next level, from being a top player in high school to being a top college D1 player, giving you that advantage on the next step in the NBA. I'm not sure if it was ESPN or NBA TV, but here is Tyrese Maxey and Candace Parker.
Right.
Have put the NBA on but Kentucky guards
Right.
have put the NBA on complete notice. And my brother's GM, so I always tell him if you're gonna bet on something, you should bet on a Kentucky guard.
Can't go wrong.
What can you say about that development? I mean, you guys seem like you guys have great development going into college, but then you explode when you get to the NBA.
Honestly, I just think Coach Cal does a really good job of pushing us. I was telling somebody the other day, for me, he just did a really good job of making basketball different for me. I think basketball growing up, I was blessed to have a lot of opportunities and a lot of love and a lot of different things where I worked my way up to the top, and basketball came easy to me. When I got to college, he was able to challenge me. He did different things in practice where he challenged me, and then in the game, he challenged me to be better. And I think that is why guys like myself, guys like Jamal, guys like De'Aaron, guys like Shea, I mean, I can go to, the list goes on and on.
But Kentucky...
when they get to the league, they excel because, one, he pushed you in practice, and then you have somebody else there pushing you. Shout out to Quick, he was the one pushing me. So it's like, you see us when we get out here, we're not afraid of anything, and we know we're going to try to go take the moment.
I'm mad. I just helped Cal recruit.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
So, of course, CP is a Vol, and for her, to give Kentucky our flowers right there, it's really dope. It shows the humility and, reality of the stature of Kentucky basketball, Coach Cal, and what he does for his players. And for Tyrese to put in his own words, he made basketball different for me. It just shows the importance of coming to Kentucky and getting that knowledge, getting that coach that has already been in this situation before. Regardless to how special of a player you have, Cal has had somebody like you, if not better, before already. And we have seen what they've done. We have seen the contracts they've landed. We've seen the finals trophies they've lifted. I mean, just recently you think of Jamal Murray, but you got AD, and the list is just going to continue because now these guys are starting to become a part of winning programs instead of being drafted to the worst team in the league and being stuck there, like a Karl Anthony Towns, for example. He is going to have an opportunity for a championship this year. Shai Gilgeous has a chance. De'Aaron Fox has a chance. Hell, maybe even Julius Randle has a chance. We've seen Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero have a chance. We have plenty of guys. Tyrese Maxey is one of them included. Devin Booker. There's a bunch. I mean, I don't think the Suns will win this year. But we have too many Kentucky players that have a chance to lift up a trophy for the first time, or possibly a second time like AD or Jamal Murray. Today's Friday. I had the day off. I was trying to convince people to hit a Miami Heat game with me. Unsuccessful. There's still a small chance my one friend changes his mind, so possibly next episode I will have some NBA, Tyler Hero, and Bam in-person content for you. Regardless, I will be hitting the Miami game eventually. Looking forward to speaking on it. I don't know why it's totally different for me to go dolo to Gainesville compared to Miami. For a game, it just totally seems so much less enticing to enter a city opposed to a small college town. For a night game commute opposed to, I mean, there has been night games in Gainesville, but there's also those times where you can get home at a reasonable time. You're not getting home at 4 a.m. Because when you go to Miami, let's be honest, it's hard to just leave the game and go straight home, if you know what I mean. I mean, when you're in the city, you might as well have some fun, possibly at 11. But that would be cool to cover a Heat game next episode. Regardless, next episode we do have a Texas A&M recap, and let's hit that preview.
Tout mon monde est bien plus que ça. Seul je crie son nom quand vient le désarroi. Et puis tout s'effondre quand il n'est plus là. J'aimerais tellement lui dire, mais je n'ose pas. Lui qui me fait tourner dans le vide, vide, tourner dans le vide, vide, tourner dans le vide. Ma vie tourner dans le vide, 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 tourner.
If you just break down the sheer numbers between us and A&M, it's night and day. We average 90.7 a game. They average 73.2. We average 49.9% field goal percentage. Round up 0.1 decimal. 50% from the field. They're 40.1. From 3, we're 39.9 at 1.1 decimal. We're 40% from 3. They're 26. We even shoot free throws better than them. This is a team that is not shooting. They're going to be a rebound, tough, physical team. They out-rebound us 4 rebounds per game, but every other statistic, we crush them. We average 3 more blocks, 2 more steals, 7 more assists, and 1 less turnover. I really see this possibly. If we get up 10 early, we can really run away with it. And this is a game where it might be a whiteout, whatever it may be. Everyone's going to be wearing the same color. The crowd's going to be loud. We're going to be heckled on the way to the game. This is one of those games where we might just come out hot and never take our foot off the gas. And I really can see this being an ugly game for Texas A&M. I understand that they have a few decent wins this year. They're 9-6 currently, and let's actually go over their last games. In chronological order, they lost to Auburn, who's probably the second best team in the conference. They were ranked 16th at the time, and they lost by 11 at Auburn. That definitely shows that, for them to be in the game, it shows that they could be in the game with us too. But however, the game prior, they lost by 15 home versus LSU. Ugly loss. They beat Providence. Is that Providence? No, it's not Providence. Don't know what school this is. The Prairie View A&M Panthers They beat them by 25 at home. Who is HBU? Today we're learning stuff. HBU is Houston Baptist Huskies. Texas A&M beat them as well, of course, by 27 at home. But they lost to ranked 4th Houston by 4 in Houston, December 16th. Houston is a good team. They have an NBA player. They have a good coach. They have that winning mentality right now with the success they've had the last couple of years. And they kept it within 4 in an away environment. This is the one game on their schedule that should give them any type of optimism and for us not to look at this as an automatic win. However, the game before that, they lost by 6 to Memphis, who was 13th at the time, and Texas A&M was home and 21st in the nation at the time. Ugly loss, and they lost to Virginia the game before that when they were ranked 14th. They only put up 47 points versus Virginia. You could tell that Virginia pace really hurt them. They beat Iowa State the game before that by 4, and they lost to FAU the game before that by 7. This isn't a team that we should lose to, regardless of the environment, regardless of the home court advantage. I see us winning easily, and I do not know if that line was true of A&M -1. It doesn't sound accurate to me. Even if it's Kentucky -4, I feel confident we cover and definitely hit the over on the team points again. You don't have to parlay it. You can be, cautious and just do them both individually. Regardless, I feel confident this will be a third game in a row where I tell you to take the over in team points and take the spread, if not money line, if we're a dog, versus Texas A&M. I'm actually shocked this episode was this quick. It just shows how easy and satisfying of a victory that was versus Mizzou. It's Richie Lanza checking out. We'll be back with another episode, of course, to recap our victory and update y'all on our AP rankings entering 1 seed territory. It's Richie Lanza checking out. Let's go Cats.